Amy, let me ask you this, because, I'm a little disappointed in the way your Raiders, we know that they're not ready to win the division yet, but I think we all, and Tiki's included, they've increased their talent level. We know the Bengals are pretty good, but that was just a complete no-show. What happened on Sunday?
Boy, BT, I wish I knew the answer to that. I was, of course, in studio with you at Tops. So I was en route back from New York to California, didn't see the game, and we got to talk about, the lack of televisions on in the terminal at JFK, but that's another topic. I saw a bunch of games. That was not one that was on, but I did try to follow it en route home on that interminable plane flight. I just don't know that I can put my finger on it succinctly. But there's clearly some issues. That said, it was one game. We all know not to draw too many conclusions or overreact to the first game of the season. And my hope for the Raider Nation is, of course, that things get better each week.
Amy, we were talking a little bit about stadium issues and fan safety and things of that nature. You spent a lot of your career out in Oakland. Should that be an issue that teams think about as they are staying or relocating? Because we know that Oakland is one of those teams, along with San Diego and St. Louis, that may move to Los Angeles. Should this be a big part of the discussion?
It's an important issue, and I'm glad you raised it. It was an issue on which I focused for a tremendous amount of my career. While with the team, I defended Raider fans with every little fiber of my being, and I continue to defend Raider fans. Look, the vast majority of Raider fans and fans for every team are terrific people. But there are in every stadium throughout the league, not just in the Raider stadium, but every stadium, there's a handful of knuckleheads that just don't comport themselves in an acceptable manner. And it's not okay if you're the knucklehead at the Raider game. It's not okay if you're the knucklehead at the 49er game or any other game. The reason I always was and am so defensive of Raider fans is it is just a small handful of knuckleheads, and that's the case at 32 teams around the league, or 31 stadiums, 32 teams. But you're right, it does have to be, and it has to be something upon which teams in the league focus. Look, when you're deciding whether or not to go to a game, personal safety should not factor into your analysis.
Right.
Or it should not have to.
Yeah, you're right. Amy, do you think they stay, or do you think Oakland ultimately leaves, the Raiders ultimately leave?
I don't know the answer to that. There are so many shifting pieces in this calculus. To use a California analogy, which, BT, you remember from your time out here, it's shifting tectonic plates. There are a lot of moving pieces. Look, the Oakland Coliseum is in a phenomenal location. I actually think the site on which the Oakland Coliseum sits is the best site in the National Football League. It is the best site for purposes of public transportation. BART lets off right at the facility. It's on a major highway. It's got good ingress and egress. But that said, from an economic standpoint, does it make sense to have two brand new stadiums within 32 miles of one another? And that is the distance from the Oakland Coliseum to Levi Stadium, and I know that because I measured it with my own little car several times. So do you build another brand new stadium 32 miles from a stadium? Will the region support that? Look, I know the fans will come, but do businesses buy suites in two stadiums? Do they buy signage in two stadiums? Do they sponsor two stadiums? That's a tough economic analysis.
That's the very tricky part of the equation, no doubt. That's Amy Trask, who you can catch us together every Sunday on Tops on CBS Sports Network from 9 to 1. Also, We Need to Talk every Tuesday at 8 Eastern, the first nationally televised all-female sports show. And Amy, many years as the CEO of the Raiders, so she certainly knows the business of the NFL. But she also knows X's and O's from her days with Al. And I don't know that you need to be a scout to flip on the film and see a diminished arm strength for Peyton. How worried should Broncos fans be?
Well, boy, BT, you were like Nostradamus last week on that other pregame show, because this was the issue you focused on when discussing what to look for last Sunday. You were very, very strong in your opinions about Peyton. And I think we all hope that Peyton continues to perform at Peyton levels. You know that I have issues regarding the meshing. I don't even know if meshing is a word. But I have issues as to whether Gary Kubiak's offense and Peyton Manning are a good mix.
Yeah, you've always said that, yeah.
But if and to the extent Kubiak can take some pressure off of Peyton Manning by increasing the workload on the running backs and making it a run-first offense, that can alleviate some pressure on Manning. I don't know that Kubiak and Manning are going to mesh well, but if they can take some pressure off Manning, I think that's a good thing to keep him healthy throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
But, BT, I want to say something to your listening audience because you referenced our show, Tops. And something I have thanked you for privately that I would love to thank you for publicly is the teammate you are on that show. When I joined Tops 2 years ago, I had never been on TV before. I was a train wreck. In some respects, I think I still am a train wreck on television.
Not more than me.
You could not have been, nor can you be, any better a teammate than you are.